preparing for a private client banker at Chase interview. You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 20 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you want to be a Chase private client banker. I've built my career around client conversations, needs-based selling, and follow-through. What attracts me to Chase Private Client is the mix of relationship depth, strong digital tools, and access to specialists across banking, lending, and investments. I like earning trust first, then identifying practical ways to simplify cash flow, deepen deposits, protect clients, and introduce the right partners when needs go beyond everyday banking. That balance fits how I sell and serve clients. While answering, focus on client-facing sales experience, relationship building, why affluent banking interests you, and how Chase's scale, brand, digital tools, and specialist network fit your career goals. Question 2. What do you think a Chase private client banker does day to day? A Chase private client banker owns affluent client relationships in the branch and helps clients get more value from the bank. The role is not just opening accounts. It is discovering goals, growing balances, retaining households, and connecting clients to mortgage, business banking, and J.P. Morgan wealth management partners. I would measure success by client trust, responsible growth, strong compliance, and consistent follow-up after every meaningful conversation. Make sure to cover relationship management, deposit growth, client retention, branch partnership, referrals to specialists, compliance, and the difference between transactional banking and managing a full affluent household relationship. Question 3. How would you uncover a client's financial needs before recommending a product? I start broad, then narrow. I ask about life events, cash flow, savings purpose, debt, business ownership, and longer-term goals before recommending anything. If a client keeps $250,000 in low-yield cash, I would explore liquidity needs, emergency reserves, and timeline, then discuss appropriate deposit solutions or introduce a licensed advisor. The key is making the recommendation feel like a logical next step, not a product push. In your answer, talk about asking discovery questions, listening for life events, understanding balances and goals, confirming priorities, and recommending only after the client's situation and timeline are clear. Question 4. How would you build trust with a Chase private client customer who has significant balances? Affluent clients usually have options, so trust comes from preparation and consistency. I would respect their time, understand the full household relationship, and follow through exactly when promised. I would avoid sounding transactional and instead bring ideas, ways to consolidate accounts, improve convenience, plan lending needs, or coordinate with wealth partners. Over time, that reliability turns a branch banker into a primary financial contact for them. Be sure to mention professionalism, preparation, respecting time, confidentiality, proactive follow-up, understanding the full household relationship, and bringing relevant ideas rather than pushing products immediately. Question 5. What Chase products and services would you discuss with a private client household? I would position Chase around convenience, safety, and advice. Core products include checking, savings, CDs, credit cards, mortgages, home equity where available, business banking, and digital payments. For private client households, the bigger value is coordination, premium banking benefits, stronger service, and introductions to J.P. Morgan advisors when investing or planning needs appear. I would connect products to stated goals rather than list features alone. While answering, focus on everyday banking, savings, CDs, credit cards, mortgages, business banking, digital banking, premium service benefits, and appropriate introductions to J.P. Morgan wealth management. Question 6. When would you refer a client to a J.P. Morgan advisor? An advisor referral is appropriate when the conversation moves from banking into investing, retirement, education planning, or portfolio questions. I would not give investment advice outside my role. Instead, I would identify the need, explain the value of speaking with a licensed J.P. Morgan advisor, and make a warm introduction with context. I would stay involved as the banker, because the client should experience one coordinated Chase relationship. Make sure to cover boundaries around investment advice, identifying planning or investing needs, making a warm referral, sharing context with the advisor, and staying engaged as the client's banker. Question 7. Tell me about a time you handled an upset customer. How would you handle one at Chase? I would first let the client finish and show that I understand the issue. Then I would verify facts, explain what I can do immediately, and set a clear timeline for anything needing research or escalation. If Chase made a mistake, I would own it and fix it within policy. If the answer is no, I would explain the reason respectfully and offer the best available alternative. In your answer, talk about listening without interrupting, empathy, verifying facts, taking ownership within policy, escalating appropriately, setting timelines, and preserving the relationship even when the answer is unfavorable. Question 8. How do you handle sales goals without becoming too pushy? Sales pressure is manageable when the activity is disciplined and client-centered. I would track pipeline, outbound calls, scheduled reviews, referrals, and closed opportunities daily, not wait until month-end. At the same time, I would never force a product that does not fit. The best way to hit goals consistently is to have enough quality conversations, document next steps, and build repeatable referral habits with branch partners. Be sure to mention activity discipline, pipeline management, needs-based conversations, ethical sales behavior, documentation, follow-up, and the idea that sustainable production comes from trust and consistent outreach. Question 9. What does KYC mean in a banking role, and why is it important? KYC protects clients, the bank, and the financial system. In a branch setting, I would verify identity, understand the source and purpose of funds, keep client information current, and escalate anything inconsistent with expected activity. I would also explain requirements calmly so clients see it as protection, not bureaucracy. Good compliance is part of trust, especially with larger balances and complex households at Chase today. While answering, focus on identity verification, understanding source and purpose of funds, updating customer information, anti-money laundering expectations, regulatory protection, and explaining requirements professionally to clients. Question 10. What would you do if you noticed suspicious activity in a client's account? If I noticed unusual activity, I would stay calm, avoid tipping off the client, and follow Chase procedures. Examples could include structured cash deposits, inconsistent explanations, sudden third-party wires, or elder exploitation red flags. My role is not to investigate independently or accuse anyone. It is to document facts, involve the right internal teams, and protect the client and bank within regulatory requirements every time. Make sure to cover staying calm, not tipping off the client, documenting facts, following Chase procedures, escalating through proper channels, and understanding that your role is not independent investigation. Question 11. How would you deepen an existing Chase client relationship? I would deepen the relationship by looking for gaps between what the client uses and what they need. For example, a client with payroll deposits, idle savings, a mortgage elsewhere, and no beneficiary updates has several conversation paths. I would prioritize the most relevant need, ask permission to discuss it, and schedule follow-up. Deepening is about becoming more useful, not simply adding accounts to grow balances. In your answer, talk about reviewing the client profile, identifying gaps, understanding household needs, prioritizing the most relevant opportunity, asking permission, and following up with specific next steps. Question 12. Tell me about a time you met or exceeded a sales goal. In my last sales-focused role, I exceeded target by building a weekly routine instead of relying on walk-ins. I reviewed my book, identified clients with maturing CDs or high balances, made outbound calls, and prepared specific talking points. 1 month, that routine helped me close several deposit renewals and referrals. The lesson was simple. Consistent prospecting, good notes, and timely follow-up create predictable results reliably. Be sure to use a clear situation, action, result structure, emphasizing prospecting, pipeline discipline, client conversations, measurable outcomes, follow-up, and what you learned about repeatable performance. Question 13. How would you prioritize walk-in clients, appointments, outbound calls, and follow-ups in a busy branch. I would prioritize by urgency, client impact, and revenue opportunity while keeping the lobby experience smooth. A fraud concern or upset client comes before an outbound call. Scheduled private client appointments deserve preparation and punctuality. For quieter moments, I would shift to pipeline work, follow-ups, referrals, and book reviews. The key is using a calendar and communicating with the branch team throughout the day daily. While answering, focus on urgency, client impact, scheduled commitments, branch coordination, using a calendar, balancing service with sales activity, and keeping communication clear with teammates and clients. Question 14. What does ethical cross-selling mean to you? Ethical cross-selling starts with the client's stated need. If someone asks about saving for a home, I should not jump straight to a credit card because it helps my goal. I would ask about timeline, down payment, existing debt, and cash reserves, then recommend the relevant banking or lending solution. When clients feel the logic, they are more likely to say yes and stay loyal. Make sure to cover client-first recommendations, needs-based discovery, avoiding product pushing, explaining fit clearly, complying with policies, and building long-term trust rather than chasing short-term production. Question 15. A client says another bank is offering a higher CD or savings rate. How would you respond? I would acknowledge the rate difference instead of dismissing it. Then I would compare the full relationship, access to bankers, digital convenience, fraud protection, broader Chase services, and whether the competing product has restrictions. If the client's priority is pure yield, I would be honest. My goal is to retain the relationship by showing total value and, where appropriate, offering Chase alternatives that fit their liquidity needs. In your answer, talk about acknowledging the concern, comparing total relationship value, understanding liquidity needs, explaining restrictions, offering suitable Chase alternatives, and staying honest if yield is the client's only priority. Question 16. How would you partner with tellers, branch managers, mortgage specialists, business bankers, and advisors? A private client banker cannot win alone. I would build strong routines with tellers, branch managers, business bankers, mortgage specialists, and advisors, so referrals feel natural and timely. If a teller hears about a home purchase, that should become a warm introduction, not a missed opportunity. I would also give partners feedback and credit, because teamwork improves both client experience and production over time. Be sure to mention warm referrals, clear handoffs, regular communication, shared client context, giving credit to partners, and treating teamwork as essential to both client experience and branch production. Question 17. How do you protect client confidentiality in a branch environment? Confidentiality is non-negotiable, especially with affluent clients who may have family, business, or estate complexities. I would discuss account details only with authorized parties, verify identity before sharing information, and avoid casual conversations where others can hear. If a family member pressures me for information, I would stay polite but firm. Protecting privacy is part of protecting the relationship and Chase's reputation every single day. While answering, focus on authorized access, identity verification, private conversations, secure documents, avoiding hallway discussions, handling family member requests carefully, and treating privacy as central to trust. Question 18. How would you handle a client who objects to Chase private client balance requirements or fees? I would first clarify the client's concern. Is it the balance requirement, monthly fee, or whether benefits are being used? Then I would explain the relationship criteria clearly and review options. If private client still makes sense, I would show the value in service, convenience, and coordination. If not, I would recommend a better fitting account rather than forcing the wrong package for the client today. Make sure to cover clarifying the objection, explaining relationship criteria, reviewing benefits, comparing alternatives, recommending the right account fit, and avoiding pressure if the client is not suited for the package. Question 19. How would you encourage private client customers to use Chase digital tools? Digital adoption matters because it reduces friction and frees branch time for higher value advice. I would help clients use the Chase app for alerts, transfers, Zelle, mobile deposits, card controls, and appointment scheduling. For private client customers, digital tools should complement personal service, not replace it. A client who can handle routine tasks easily is more open to deeper planning conversations with the banker later. In your answer, talk about convenience, security, alerts, mobile deposits, transfers, Zelle, card controls, appointment scheduling, and using digital adoption to improve service rather than replace relationships. Question 20. Why should we hire you for the Chase private client banker role? You should hire me because I combine sales discipline with a service mindset. I am comfortable starting conversations, asking thoughtful questions, and following through until the client's need is resolved. I also understand that Chase expects growth done the right way, compliant, documented, and relationship-based. I would bring energy to the branch, partner well, and focus on earning primary bank status with clients over time. Be sure to summarize your relationship skills, sales discipline, client-first mindset, compliance awareness, teamwork, comfort with outreach, and ability to grow affluent client relationships responsibly. If you are still with us, congratulations, you are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.